GB News was abruptly paused mid-interview on Friday as presenters Dawn Neeson and Tom Harwood cut to a breaking update while speaking with Conservative leader Kemi Badenoch. The broadcast shift reflected the scale of the escalating crisis engulfing the BBC, which is under intense scrutiny after it emerged that not one but two of its flagship programs had edited footage of Donald Trump in a misleading way. The revelation has fueled speculation that the scandal could mark the end of the BBC as we know it. During the interview, Badenoch was pressed on the growing uproar. "Do you think this could finish the BBC?" Harwood asked, referencing newly exposed edits on both Panorama and Newsnight. Badenoch did not hold back. She argued that the broadcaster's actions were not isolated errors, but part of a broader culture in which individuals who pretend to be impartial allow their personal agendas to influence coverage. She accused the BBC of repeatedly failing on key issues. "We saw this in their reporting on the Middle East, in their refusal to acknowledge basic biological fact, and in their dreadful handling of stories involving sex and gender, coverage that genuinely harmed women," she said. The Conservative leader insisted that the BBC must now remove activists from its ranks and commit to fundamental reform. Neeson then pressed her further, would the Conservatives consider abolishing the license fee altogether? Badenoch stopped short of that commitment but made clear that the broadcaster must prove it deserves the public's financial support. "The model is not working," she said. "They can't compete with streaming platforms like Netflix or Disney. People still want a public service broadcaster, but it must be one that actually functions. If it cannot deliver, then alternatives have to be considered." The conversation then shifted back to Trump as Neeson asked whether the former US president might sue the BBC, a possibility he has already hinted. Badenoch delivered a pointed jab at Prime Minister Keir Starmer, warning that any lawsuit would ultimately be paid for by the British public. "Even GB News has to pay the license fee," she noted. "When the BBC gets things wrong, it's the taxpayers who foot the bill. The Prime Minister might want to politely ask President Trump not to proceed, because it would waste a huge amount of public money." The broadcaster continues to face an avalanche of anger, accusations of political bias, and calls for sweeping reform, with no sign that the political storm will ease anytime soon.